So, another beautiful blue sky day here in Beijing, and this week just some ramblings today, but I've been watching a couple of interesting things unfold. Elon Musk got ratioed on his platform, which is a new word I found out. Tik Tok Ban in America is actually forcing more cultural sharing from people in China with America and vice versa. The UK went cap in hand to China and got humbled, and we should be worried about that. The UK economy is not doing too good. I had a chat with a friend here, someone I know in China, and we were discussing some challenges that China is facing, but we see some positive signs. And then to finish off my conversation for today, but raw, will be a new video from Jason Lightfoot, who went back to the UK. Video made me laugh, but also made me a little bit depressed. This stuff is coming right up over the next 10 minutes or so, so stick with me as I share with you a beautiful park. Yeah, beautiful park indeed. So I'm going to touch on these things one by one. First, Elon Musk. He pleaded dumb on one of the most emotive subjects on social media, and this guy, a guy called Ian Carroll, replied to him with facts, and he was ratioed. Elon Musk was ratioed. Ratioed basically means, what I found out, means that Ian Carroll's post got far more likes than Elon Musk's original post. What I love about the guys like Ian Carroll, is that they research the detail and they go right into that detail and then share it. And hopefully one day, when I finally retire, that's exactly what I will do. Just look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to grab a seat here, talk a wee bit more. But point number two, it's just, I don't know, blue sky, yeah. Beijing with blue sky, people say. Can't be true. Let me get a seat. So, the second point is about TikTok and the pending USA TikTok ban, which I think most people with any awareness have worked out why this app is being banned in the USA. The app has about 170 million users, many of which are enjoying it and active. So when the USA ban it, they're going to leave a lot of very pissed off and angry people. What I have found exciting is that the people in the USA are now downloading the Chinese equivalent of TikTok or something similar, which is called Shao Hang Shu, which is like the little red book or red note. This is great because the people in China are now directly sharing with people in America, and it's amazing. They're now sharing just outstanding things, which I think is just pretty cool. And it takes me back to a song that my father shared with me, a song called Stop the Cavalry. And I remember when I heard it in 1980, and my father then told me, we were watching the video on TV, my father told me about an incident way back in the days where the Germans and Americans, I think it was in Flanders in 1914 or something, 19 whatever, and they stopped fighting, shooting at each other, left the trenches, joined up in the middle, and they drank beer and played football across a Christmas period. Now that story fascinated me when my father told me that story. And so I think it's that kind of moment where American people and Chinese people are now getting that Flanders moment, should I say it, and I think it's amazing.
We have been fed so much bullshit.
And hopefully it stays intact, or at least there's a great moment in time where people share their lives and we get to see and understand each other, because like I said before, the more we understand each other, the less chance there is of conflict, which could cause some severe global damage. Anyway, point number three about the UK government cap in hand, I actually think I might move from this beautiful wee location. So yeah, my father taught me a lot, so I miss my mother and father a lot. Anyway, so I was talking about the UK and Rachel Reeves coming to China cap in hand, and this is after the UK spent a whole lot of time. Yeah, hello. Yeah, they spent a whole lot of time disrespecting China in a number of different forums. So the UK Chancellor of the Exchequer came cap in hand to ask China for investment. And China end up handed out £600 million over 5 years of investment, which is not great. If you understand anything, then it's a very humbling moment for the UK and China. And you really have to get your head around the UK economy. It is in a bad way. I'm going to move. I think they want to take a photograph here. So yeah, you have to get your head around the UK economy. Let me find a quiet place. It's busy as heck here. Kids are off school. Forgot about that. So I can see a seat here, seated area, which is a bit quieter. You wash my feet in case I fall down the stairs and you get to laugh at me. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so the UK Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, came cap in hand to seek some investment for the UK and walked away with £600 million invested over 5 years. Now, if you understand anything, you really need to understand the state of the UK economy. The debt is huge, and the cost of interest on that debt is constantly rising. I think when I checked last night, the debt, or the interest on that debt, UK debt, is 4.9%. Now, to offset debt and the interest that you pay on it, you have to have a growing GDP. GDP is driven up by two things: growth and inflation. In the UK, these two things combined are currently growing about 3.4%. So your interest is high and your growth is lower, then that means there is a gap, interest payments. There's a gap, and that gap is compounding. So that means that the cost of servicing the UK debt is higher than the income. In simple man's terms, it's like having a large credit card debt, but in a dual income household, one of the two incomes have just lost their job. So that's one thing. The other thing to note here is that the idea of inflation driving GDP, that's why we've had the cost of living increases. It means the GDP goes up and governments can borrow at a reasonably cheap price. The best thing you could do is get a simple understanding of economics. I recommend that. Now, the other laughable thing that Keir Starmer said, that he wants to be, or drive the UK to lead the AI revolution by building an AI data centre for 2030, 5 years from now. Now, if you know anything about tech, which I happen to do, tech industry, then you realise that 5 years in the industry is it's a long time and a lot changes. And also with an AI data centre, the idea here is that there'll be lots of technology. Now, technology in the AI revolution is run by energy, and if you know anything about the UK and the cost of energy at the moment, it has the most expensive energy in the world. So really, why would you build an AI data centre 5 years out, say you're going to land that in a country that has the most expensive energy costs, when one of the main contributing costs into that AI revolution is the cost of energy? It doesn't make any sense, and he's flapping this and making us look really stupid. You honestly cannot make this stuff up. I just didn't get the previous government, and I don't get this government. It's just nonsense. And to be honest, a big part of the solution to our problem in the UK is staring at us right in the face, and that is get back into Europe, trade heavily with Europe and the rest of the world via Europe. That's the answer. Goodness me, when are we going to just take our head out the sand and engage that solution? Anyway, yeah, maybe move again.
Never really know what's going on.
the sun was in the shade there, and it was too cold, so that's why I decided to move. But I was talking to someone here, a friend of mine's, and we were discussing all of these points that I've just shared with you, and we were also saying how frustrating it is to see how the UK diplomacy is so bad these days, just so damn clumsy. No understanding at all of how China works, and we also discussed how bad the UK economic situation currently is, and this conversation took place against a backdrop of China having a trade surplus of just under $1 trillion, which is unbelievable. So I've fallen off my feet. This brings me on to a couple of other challenges we talked about in China. One was about consumption, spending, and China is a nation of savers, and any hint of troubled times, people will save their money for rainy days, so to speak. Someone local once said to me that China has four religions: Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism and money. Not sure if that is correct, but money is certainly important to people in China. Now, my theory on that is that China is only 50 years away ahead, or since the time they were extremely poor, and the older generation alive today that actually lived that experience, they share these stories, and that presses down onto the younger generation, which is why the modern day China is still a nation of savers, whereas in the West we just tend to keep spending. We think personal debt seems to be our friend, whereas I think it's more of our bondage in the West. Now, while we were chatting, we both agreed that we were seeing the malls, restaurants getting busy, and that is great. And also the Chinese New Year will bring a lot of tourism and trade, and we both also agreed that the visa-free travel program will help bring more people into China to experience the beauty of this amazing country, and I recommend more people actually do visit China. And the visa program and people visiting China through that program are sharing a lot back, and hopefully they extend the program, maybe open up to more countries and even for a longer period of time. And as I said before, as we speak and talk to each other, there's more chance of peace, no conflict. Where am I going to go next? Look at this. Just love a park in China. There's a kite up there. I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, so anyway, talked a lot. Finally, on a funny but a deeply depressing note, Jason Lightfoot and his lovely family went back to visit the UK. Jason, who's got an amazing channel on YouTube and a fantastic sense of humour, and shared that video on his channel, and it was a little bit funny, but equally depressing, frustrating for me to see such a great city, amazing city such as London, a city that I loved when I lived there, look so shabby. But again, the video did make me laugh. It did point out some of the rather concerning things going on in the UK, like I said. And one last thing, finally, last comment. I have been diving into a lot of Scottish history these days and learning so much that I didn't know about my own country's history, and I think everyone should look into their own country's history. It would be shocking and equally exciting. But thanks to my mate Dunky for sparking my interest in my own country's history. Cheers to a channel run by a guy called Bruce, not my Bruce but another Bruce, who does fantastic research, and I recommend it. I'll share a link of some here, picture up here, some links I'll share down below. Anyway, he seems such a lovely guy, and I look forward to the time where I can have a beer with him, maybe my mate Dunky. in Scotland at some point. And also, just so you understand, the reason why I talk about China in a wider context of the world and flavour it up with other things which I happen to be interested in is because I think we should talk about China in the complete narrative and all the context of the global world. I just believe that's why we should talk about all this stuff and also flavour China into my conversations. Plus, I've got a lot more interests to share with you. Anyway, take care of yourself, look after yourself, your family, your mother and father, who are extremely important. I've lost mine, miss them dearly, but look after them, look after your community, and above all else, let's hope we keep peace, more peace. Take care. Peace out.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date. You're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight. Don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase. So catch me if